Hi, my name is Daphne, and today I am going to finally plant my lettuce screens inside of the raised bed. I've already taken off the plastic from the raised bed and literally just put on the insect netting, so it is time. Not to mention we have an entire week of like 60, 70-degree weather, and some rain coming in a few days. So I thought it would be a good idea to plant the lettuce seeds now and hope that they do not bolt within the next few weeks or go to seed, because my set of mustard greens have already gone to seed. So I'm hoping that they actually stay decent for at least another month or so. But anyway, so I'm going to do that to put them in the raised bed. Also, I'm transplanting the kale into the gated garden area because it does not need insect netting. I haven't found that too many things actually eat kale outside of rabbits, and the fence will actually protect the kale from the rabbits. So in terms of the insects, I haven't found that too much actually bothers it. So I'm going to put that in the the enclosed area. And then I also need to uncover the trees here because they no longer need the winter protection, hopefully, and scoop some of the leaves off of the strawberry plants so where they can actually come back as well. So just a few little things that need to be done in the garden. So I will show you how the salad greens are looking, and then we'll get started. So what I actually did today was it just included a post here to push this up a little bit because I do believe that the pressure of the water on the plastic tarp was actually causing this to bend a little bit. So I had to like raise the roof up just a little bit. So it actually looks fine. But anyway, I have put the bug netting on. I actually had to take out my sewing machine to connect some of the insect netting in the back because over the years I've actually been using clothespins to close that loop, and that has stopped nothing from getting in here. So hopefully that is actually secure back there. But this is what has survived. Ironically enough, chamomile does wonderful in cold weather, not so much in hot weather, but that actually did really well. The chives are doing amazing. The bunching onions did kind of suffer, but the Merlot lettuce and the Paris Island lettuce did a wonderful job. I do see the Mizuna is coming back, but I have a ton of Mizuna in the house that needs to be hardened off. The purple bok choy looks a hot mess, but it does look like it has survived the worst. The tatsoi and some of the other Asian greens are actually bouncing back pretty well. The scarlet kale took a beating, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to deal with being transplanted today. And the dinosaur kale actually did pretty well too. The leeks are fine, and I'm going to be planting them out today as well. And then typically what I do is underneath every plant, I will put some kitchen scraps. In this bucket is actually decomposed chicken scraps, just stuff from the compost bin. Chicken poop, decayed leaves and twigs and stuff like that. And I bury them deeper, like underneath the plant, and then add soil so that the worms and things have something to eat and what can fertilize the environment underneath the plant. And I've done that for like 2 years now, and I very rarely have to fertilize in this bed because I just dig holes and just drop in kitchen scraps and things like that. So, all right, let me just collect some water and we'll get. All right, so we just cleared a little row here, removed the leaves and just pushed them to the side so that you are planting directly into bare soil. And then what I like to do is literally just dig. And initially when I created this bed, I actually, like 50% of this bed was actually mulch, and it was the big, thick pine mulch. And so I know that's a mistake now. Oh, poor worm. But there's still decomposing moss. I mean, they're decomposing wood chips in here. But even still, the bed grows pretty well, so it doesn't seem to be affecting anything. And it's full of earthworms. All right, now the plants aren't this big, but the reason why I dug a deeper hole is because I'm actually going to put some composting kitchen scraps into that hole. So at the hole, and just a little bit. I think this is enough here. I just call it worm food, so And that's actually might be too much for one plant. And then we just cover it with a little bit of soil, just so the plant has something to get started with. Move out the wood chips. All right, and then I'm going to plop a plant in there. All right, here's the Merlot lettuce. Have the tag already made, which is literally just a cut up piece of old blind that we had, or that I saved. So Merlot lettuce. And then this plant is actually super hardy. I will always grow these seeds. It survived through a lot this season. But I just take it out. It has really healthy roots here too. And we literally just put that in the hole. And just lightly backfill. All right, and that is the first one already planted. When I get through planting a row, I will just give this row some water. So what I would do is I take my son's bucket and then I have a 5-gallon bucket here with just rainwater and some regular water mixed in, and I just literally just water it in. And don't forget that step, because they go through extreme transplant shock if you do not water these plants. I've lost plants because I've forgotten to water, which is actually common sense, but you know, you forget. So I'm going to plant this bed out, and then we'll go into the enclosed garden area and plant out the kale. So let's get to it. All right, so we have finished, I've finished planting in this garden bed, and we have our tatsoi, our Merlot lettuce, we have bok choy, purple bok choy, Paris Island lettuce, some Nero de Toscano in the house, and just basically some odds and ends planted along the line. Along the sides, I actually have leeks planted, and that wasn't the original choice. I was going to plant the leeks out into the garden beds, but there's a lot of space in here. Well, there's enough space to grow leeks in here, and it's just an experiment. So I just have them on the side so they're out of the way. There's about 6 or 7 per row. And then I also planted some bunching onions and some chives in the garden beds within the gated area. So I will show you what the garden bed looks like. Right now, probably doesn't look like much. There's a lot of leaves, even though I took a bunch out and dumped them in the compost bin. But the plants are looking great. They've all been watered. And as mentioned, we have some pretty hot days on the forecast, and we also have some rain coming in a few days. So I will come out here maybe once a day for the next 3 to 4 days just to water them to make sure they're established. And then I'll let Mother Nature do the watering for me, hopefully. And hopefully we can get some salad greens and a couple of harvests before they start to bolt, because bok choy and mizuna are known, and tatsoi are known to bolt. They're the quickest things ever to bolt. So hopefully they get up some good size and we're able to actually harvest before they go to seed. But I'll let you see the work that has been done so far. All right, so as mentioned, you might see our specks of color, but we have about 4 per row, just because I'm not exactly sure how many of these will survive given the conditions that they were in for the last week or so. But there are some leeks here in this row, and they are buried as deeply as I can get them, because I actually watched a video on how you should bury leeks as far down as possible. So I buried them as far down as their second leaf or the second stem. Then there's Merlot lettuce here. There is some tatsoi and Asian greens here. There's different bok choys here. There is Paris Island lettuce here. There are bok choys, Merlot lettuce, basically all of the leftover seeds here. And then in this row there are leeks. which is hard to see, but here's one here. So there's a leek there. There's about 6 in this row. And then underneath all of the plants, there is compost. So just basically kitchen scraps, chicken poop, and composted leaves, even though we didn't need them. We probably didn't need any more leaves in this garden bed. And my little garden kitty. Hi. How you doing? Huh? How you doing? You trying to find a rabbit? You gonna get the voles? Huh? You gonna get the voles? How you doing? Now inside of the garden area, you coming? Yeah, you coming. Outside the garden area, I actually separated out some bunching onions from last year. So I just separated them into 4 different locations. They were originally here, but the pile was just too thick. And hopefully they survived that because I didn't get a lot of the smaller roots. Look at this cat. I never let him in here. At least not when I'm here, because he, these beds aren't litter boxes, but get his scent in here wouldn't be a bad thing. Look at this yarrow coming back. There is a dinosaur kale here, and it's kind of on the weaker side, so hopefully this one survives. Let's see. There is purple kale there. I planted the chives out here, and I gave them some water, so they're a little leaned over, but hopefully they come back. I just never have any success germinating chives. I don't know what it is. I might actually need to germinate them in ground. There's a dinosaur kale. I tried to plant one on every corner here. And then there's some more bunching onions planted there. There's a scarlet kale there with some yarrow. There's a kale there, a kale in that bed, one right in the middle. And then there's one right in the middle of that bed there and that bed there as well. So hopefully they make it. And then over here, I actually planted out some chamomile, so they've just been watered. So hopefully that fills in really well. We do have our chocolate mint growing back over here. Our lavender has some new shoots. Look at this yarrow bed. It's beautiful. Elderberry patch has just gotten ridiculous. And all of those shoots are actually going to be branches. And it looks like on the ground, look at this. Elderberry growing in. Like, it's crazy. This thing just expands like crazy. I'm gonna have to prune some of this stuff back. But here is the early April garden. Look at this cat. All right, so thank you so much for at least following me and planting our seedlings out into the garden, or at least the cold hardy seedlings. Bunching onions, chives, salad greens, those things, kales. I actually trust those to be out here. So even if we do get another temperature drop into the 30s, they will be okay as long as they are established. And within the next week or so, we do have temperatures that are fairly decent enough to establish them without making them go to seed. Here's hoping. So I'm going to cover this with insect netting because we do have a few white moths now flying around, and I don't want any caterpillar worms or I don't want any caterpillars inside of the grow area. So I'm going to close this, and I'm actually going to plant out a few more of those asparagus roots just within some of the garden beds in the back of the garage, as well as in the asparagus patch as well, just to replace some of the other ones that might be damaged. So anyway, I hope your gardens are doing well. I hope your gardens are waking up. I've seen quite a few videos here on YouTube where people are just showing their beautiful gardens, and they're already getting harvest, and I'm jealous about that. Because we have a few more weeks before I can even harden off the tomatoes and the peppers and the basil. So I'll just watch vicariously through you guys' videos until I'm able to fully plant the garden spaces out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day.